So for you, it's important to define your ideal life. And the way to do that is really one way to do that, there's so many ways of doing it. One way to do that is to just write out your ideal day in the life. For you, what would be ideal? What would be the ideal way to wake up? And what time would you want to wake up? You want to get as specific as you can with this. So the more specific you are, the more likely it's going to happen in the way that you want it to happen. You could say, oh, my ideal is just to get up at 6 a.m. That'd be great. But then what if you wake up at 6 in the morning every morning with your neighbor's chainsaw going? You don't want that. You say, oh, I want to wake up in the morning in silence, and I want to start my morning off and get the first 2 hours out of the way with just some meditation and some hot water, tea, whatever, and then I want to write out my goals and gratitude and go for a nice walk in the morning in a safe town, safe environment, safe neighborhood. The more specific you can get, the more characteristics you can give, the more real you can make it on paper, the faster and more likely it's going to come into your life in the way that you want it to. And a lot of people, they get afraid of being specific. They say, oh, if I could just make $100,000 a year, that'd be great. Yeah, but you don't want to make $100,000 a year going to the army and killing people. That's not your ideal. Your ideal is probably to make $100,000 a year or more, talking with people about what it is they love to do. It's like a coach. You could be a coach, make that kind of money. So again, getting very specific about what you want, why you want it, and how you want to get it is crucial. So defining your ideal life, that's one thing. But then getting very specific is another. And I recommend doing that. Spending time on paper, putting pen to paper really, really helps. The life I'm living now was completely a pipe dream. I wrote it on paper, like everything I'm living now, the clothes I'm wearing, the friends I'm hanging out with, it's all written. This is all, what's the word, not predestined, it's all calculated pretty much. It's like, this is what I want. People say, oh, you're so lucky doing this. It's like, it's not luck. It's what I said I wanted to get, and it's what I've been working at. I manifested it. Yeah, absolutely. We manifest everything. That's the thing, too. People are like, oh, I was driving, and then I manifested this nice car beside me. It's like, but you also manifested the car you're in. You manifested the road you're on. You manifested the town you're in. You manifested the air you're breathing. So we're manifesting everything. We are absolute creators. We're responsible for everything in our life. The people we're looking at, I'm responsible for Michael sitting here wearing his name tag. Thanks, Michael. I'm responsible for the people who are not wearing their name tag. I'm like, I think it's Yuki, right? Yeah, I saw your name tag yesterday. I'm responsible for him not wearing his name tag. I manifested that. So I could show everyone what a good name rememberer I am. So, we're manifestors of everything. So, another really, really cool thing I'm really, really passionate about is when you draw out your ideal life, write out your ideal life, really the reason you want an ideal life in the first place is because you want to feel a certain way. You want to feel ideal. When you're feeling ideal, life is ideal. Feelings, your emotions, are really the dictator of your life experience. When you're on your deathbed, you're going to look back. And everything you talk about or think about, it's going to be based on the way you felt in that time. You're not going to remember what someone really said to you. You're not going to remember what really happened or what the score was in that game. You're going to remember how it felt. And if it felt bad, you're going to say, oh, it was lousy. And if it felt great, you're going to say it was fantastic. It all comes down to how you're feeling. When you leave this festival, it's not going to matter what Grant says on stage or Ann says on stage or Doug Graham says on stage or even what I say on stage. When you leave this festival, you're going to remember how you felt at the festival. So when it comes to writing out your ideal life, and you say, I want to earn $100,000 and I want to have kids and I want to live in Hawaii, well, it's not going to matter to you if you're making $100,000 and you have kids and you're living in Hawaii. If you feel like crap all the time, you're miserable, you're depressed. So very important to write out how you want to feel. What are your ideal states of mind? What are your ideal emotions that you want to feel on a daily basis? No matter how unrealistic they may seem right now, write out those ideal states and just know that you can tap into them. If I asked you all right now to act miserable, what would you do? What body language would you put yourself into? Slouch. You'd just be miserable. You'd clam up. If I said to act really excited, what's the first thing you do? Open up. Put the hands up. Yeah, so you know that. And if I asked you to act drunk, you could be like, oh, I'm drunk. And if I asked you to act high, you could act, oh, I'm really high right now. Like, you can act however you want. Little kids do it all the time. You used to do it all the time. We all used to be little kids. Some of us still are. So we can put ourselves into states like that. We don't need outside circumstances, outside events to tell us how we should feel. We can determine how we want to feel by conscious thought alone. Take some practice, but we can get there for sure. So if you're miserable on an ongoing basis, you don't need to be. Doesn't matter if your dad said this, your mom said this, or your spouse said this. You can do what is required to put yourself in a great state of mind and stay in that state of mind for as long as possible. And when you get back off track, you get back on track.